Good evening, gentlemen. It's Monday, the 5th of September. It's the weather's turned a bit iffy, but who cares? It's autumn now. It's been raining, thunder, lightning, and all kinds of stuff happening today. But who cares? We've got a new Prime Minister today, and we'll talk about that in a minute, okay? First of all, that comes in a moment. Right. Let's say hello to everyone. Be More Wrong. Good evening, mate. How's it going? Hope you're all well. Leo Malley, the Fat Gent, David Coleman. Nice to hear from you, mate. Sean Moore, pork pies at the ready. Now, before I go any further with this. Pork pies at the ready. Now, I haven't had pork pies in a while, and I did sort of miss them in a way. But I have been good today. I have been bloody good today. I'm proud of myself because I've probably done more exercise today than any day in recent times. To be honest with you, I got on my exercise bike for over an hour while I was watching TV. The best way is the exercise bike is fairly boring. It really, really is. But I think if there's something interesting that you're watching on TV or on the laptop or whatever, to drag your exercise bike in front of it and just pound away while you're watching it. And at the end of it, I felt great, really, really good. I've limited my calories. I'm watching what I eat. I've also had a nice brisk. You're going to see a different me in a couple of months. Promise you. Different me. Okay, Be More Wrong. Yeah, nice to hear from you. John Ash, Singapore Dan, Leeds, Simon Bridges, Boo Hoo, Shane Humphreys, David Coleman. S Travels 4K, Lisa Dale's Gambian lover. I tell you, no, I'm not putting that on. Great weather in the UK. Let's do another. Oh, okay, whatever. Yeah. Okay. You can read Lisa Dale's Gambian. You can read that comment for yourself. Okay. Let's see. Be More Wrong, best intro in the genre. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you like it. Capo 17, El Terrifico. El Terrifico, nice to hear from you. The LSD music means it's time for Steady Eddie, England's national treasure. Oh, that is so nice of you, mate. So nice of you. Bernard Purcell, Ian UK. Ian UK. Hi, Ed. Truss is our PM. You happy? Am I happy? Well, I don't know. I mean, there she is. Lackluster Liz is our new Prime Minister. I mean, she's sort of, I don't know. She's nice, isn't she? I mean, what does she stand for? What's she going to do? Nobody knows just yet. We'll talk about it in a minute. Barry from EastEnders, nice to hear from you. Gemini Star. Let's see. Alpha Interactions. Let's see. Alpha Interactions. Hello, Eddie. Damien from Ireland. Going to Santorini, Greece in 3 weeks after my dad passed away a few weeks ago. Your vlogs kept him going while he was okay. That is great to hear, but I'm very, very sad to hear that your dad's passed away, so we're very, very sad about that, but may he rest in peace. Gemini Star, Barry KFC, Tom Streeter, Lewis C, McLaren F1 racer. Oh my God, this should be juicy tonight. Okay, we'll try and make it we'll try and add a bit of vitamin C to it. Mister, no movie BS. Yeah, okay, whatever. Let me see. Yogi Bear, hi, there's so much treating the last 24 hours. Well, we've been told a week ago that we've had a terrible drought, the worst drought. So we need the rain. I mean, I hate the rain, but when it's raining every day and when it's raining every bloody day, it gets depressing. But in a couple of months' time, I should be on an airplane out of it, and I can't wait. David Coleman, Eddie behind the house, really? S Travels 4K. Ed, you're looking healthier, pal. I feel a little bit, I haven't got a set of scales at home. I'm really glad because when you've got a set of scales, you tend to go on them every 5 minutes. And sometimes if you think you've lost weight, you're kidding yourself, and then you end up a little teensy-weensy bit disappointing if you found that, you haven't lost anything from last week, whatever. So I haven't got a set of scales. But I am it's all about being realistic, isn't it? I'm overweight. I've been overweight for a long time now, and I want to lose a few stone. If I can get to that flight in a couple of months' time and reach my target weight, or even if I'm close to my target weight, I will be very, very happy. I will be very, very happy. Really. So we'll see anyway. Wandering Nomad, nice to hear from you. Capo 17, Tree Town, and Gemini Star. Let's see. David Coleman, good for you. I need to lose 20. I need to lose a lot more than that, mate. A lot more than that. Capo 17, Stuart Lennox, Andrew Hammond, nice to hear from you. Yours Travels. Yours Travels, good evening again. Back on land, but back on a cruise ship on Saturday around Scandinavia. That sounds bloody good, that, mate. That sounds bloody good. Oh, really fantastic. I'd love to go on one of those cruise ships. You like what you like, and I wouldn't mind giving that a go. Yes, I'm drinking my Coors Light beer, and it does, the lower calories does add up after a while. Okay, Mr. 2 p.m. in Phoenix, Tree Town, Paul Scarth. Paul Scarth, even also has been pounding it away on his exercise bike. Yeah, I've had my exercise bike for a couple of years, and so if you get stuck into it, if you really, really do get stuck into it, an exercise bike can be such a bloody good way of losing that because I've done it before in the past. But it gets a bit boring. I think the best way is just to drag it in front of the TV set and just get on it. Don't think about it. Just get on it and do a bit of exercise while you're watching TV. Okay. Singapore Town. Maybe she will turn. Maybe she will turn into the Iron Lady too. No. I mean, she doesn't want to be anyone else. There's only one Margaret Thatcher. I don't think a lifetime, could deal with two of those. Matthew Cartwright, good evening. Nice to hear from you, mate. Stuart Lennox, anti-Brexit here. Don't trust it. That's right. No, she was a Remainer, wasn't she? No, she was a Remainer, but she's come round to the Brexit way of thinking. She doesn't like the royal family, but she's meeting the Queen this week. Liz is meeting the bigger Liz. You know what I mean? Be interesting. Philip Mulville, nice to hear from you. Seasound, Defo, Liz is the dog. I thought it's got a nice body. Anthony Chinson. How's you, Eddie? Back in the UK for 2 weeks now, missing Thailand so much. Oh, yeah, well, you would miss Thailand. I left Thailand about 4 months ago, and I went another couple of months to go before I'm going back. There's things to talk about this week when we do the travel stuff later on in the week. There's things to talk about. The cost of flights, the cost of accommodation. Oh yeah, I'll book my first hotel. I'll give you. An indication of that one later on the week, and also the dreadful subject of the British pound. Oh Jesus Christ Almighty, Jesus Christ. Tom Streeter, do you fancy replacing Britty Patel? I'm sure you'd stop the boats. She's a bit of a corker, isn't she, Britty Patel? When she announced that she's a resignation today, she was a little bit heckled, and her answer to him was, "Well, shut up." Yeah. I like it. Danish Bacon, nice to hear from you. David Mayer, nice to hear from you. Okay, let me see. Okay, where are we now? Pinball, even Ed, shouldn't the big question be can we trust Liz? Well, we don't know. I think she's to be perfectly honest, I think she's like a bit of a blank canvas right now. I mean, we don't know. I don't think anyone really knows. The Conservatives who voted in, they must know something. Maybe she's better because she just looks to be a bit bland, really, and she's done so many U-turns, and she's kind of like a revolving door. There's another picture of her there. That's lackluster Liz. I think we got to call her, but she give it a while. she'll presumably have the best advisors who will, shape it and, and teach her how to speak properly and how to communicate properly, because she's not a wizard at all of that. And I think maybe, you've got to give it a chance. Give it a chance. Barney from EastEnders, good for you. No point dying. It's all about lifestyle changes. Life's too short not to drink a beer, but all about being sensible and doing half an hour of exercise a day. That's it. It is. I mean, being sensible, but you've also got to be realistic as well. You have to be realistic, and a lot of us now. I'm guilty of this. Is doing a little bit of exercise and cutting out this a couple of few calories in, whatever, and expecting to lose lots of weight. It's doable. I've done it before, but I'm really today. I've got 2 months to go before I fly. And honestly, if by the time that my flight comes around in November, if I can be a couple of stone lighter, I will feel so much better for that. I really, really will. I need to lose more than 2 stone, to be honest with you. There we go. Sean the Prawn. Good evening, Ed. Liz Truss is the salt of the earth and is in touch with the common people. I don't care what the rest of the world says. It's happy days from now on till Easter. Well, that's very, very positive. Thank you for that, Sean the Prawn. Thank you for you're very, very positive about it. Okay. Cats and good coffee. Nice to have you. Scaffolded John. Glenn Hendricks, you walk a lot, and that's the best thing. Yeah, I had a brisk walk today as well. Let's see. Clive says, I cannot wait to go to Pattaya and forget about my wife with some 23-year-old. Good for you, mate. Good for you. Good for you. Paul Hoskin, it's very difficult to lose weight. It's actually more difficult to gain weight, to be honest with you. For skinny people to gain weight, but it's very difficult. It is, but it's all in the mind. You've got to have the right attitude. You've got to be realistic. You do have to be realistic. And you put your mind to it. It's just about not eating too much, not drinking too much, getting a bit of exercise, and you can lose. I've done it before. I'll do it again. Oh, Jesus Christ. When those Thai girls see me in November, they won't recognize me. Oh, you look, Eddie, you look 20 years younger and about 30 stone lighter. Yours travels, Gemini, about 400 down in the end, but had some good wins and lots of fun. Okay, good for you, mate. Scaffolded John. We didn't get Brexit, only a fake one. Well, I mean, there's all. I mean, the thing is, we've had Brexit, but then when we try and do anything, Europe still seems to be pulling us. There's like that, that fiasco with Rwanda and that flight which never took off. They pulled something out of the hat, didn't they? The Human Rights Act. They're still telling us what to do. That's got to stop. Okay. Let's see. Philip Mobile, she's a China plant. Okay. Scaffolded John, she's a globalist. Humongous. Energy freeze. I hope a lot of us be freezing air. Well, it's still, the cold weather hasn't kicked in yet. The cold weather hasn't kicked in yet. So, McLaren wanted Liz Truss. Okay, that's kind of decisive. David Coleman, did you see all the Wongas today protesting for the dinghy people outside the court? Terrible. Yeah, but it wouldn't surprise me. Martin Blondes, hello, Ed and chat. Talking about rain. Did you see the rain in Pattaya? I've been in Pattaya when they've had a flash flood and all that. And, you're knee deep in water. I've been there. It's still warm. It's kind of fun, really, isn't it? It's kind of fun. Category Coffee, Paul Hoskin, just eat one apple per day like Christian Bale to play his character in the movie The Machinist. Christian Bale's a wonderful actor, very, very talented actor. I've seen that movie. He was very, very emaciated, wasn't he? I heard that his diet was coffee and apples. That's what I heard. Coffee and apples. That's not a very healthy diet, is it? But it did seem to work. Scaffolded John. Rwanda was set up to fail. No, it wasn't. Rwanda was set up to give us all a bloody good laugh. Well, it made me laugh anyway. Let me see. Yours travels, pretty petal. Wouldn't mind a few hours with her in the bed. She's such a good looker. She said, I don't want to lose a bit of weight. She needs to lose a bit of weight. It's a very, very pretty face, but she needs to lose a bit of weight. Little tigress, isn't she? Okay, Leeds. Liz Truss will be the same as the other politicians, not just for just full of BS. Okay. Let's see. Paul asking, eat fruit and vegetables, not for me, except for chips. Okay, I'd rather eat chips personally. Eastern man, we all been sitting on a plane when a 30-stoner comes down the aisle and everybody is looking, praying they're not going to see it. I've had that. Oh yeah, I've had that. Yeah, I've had that. I mean, the thing is losing weight. I mean, it's common sense, really. One of the daftest things that I ever heard about losing weight, an excuse for being fat was there was a documentary I seen called Big Fat Cabbies, and this cab driver who was bloody 35 stone, something obscene. He could hardly move. He was being interviewed about why he was so fat, and he said because when you're sitting down all day, you put on weight because you gain so much weight because you're sitting down all day. That's absolute rubbish. Nobody gains weight by sitting down. You gain weight because you're eating too much. That's and drinking too much. You just got to be realistic. Nick Ross, have none of you learned anything? Never trusted Tory. Well, I go a bit further than that, mate. I never trusted politicians. In fact, I never trust anyone. But nice to hear from you, Nick. Pinball. No one knows what Liz is going to do. She keeps changing her mind. Oh, she does. I mean, her history as a politician seems to be all full of bloody U-turns, doesn't it? Change it. You can't have that. You can't have. She was a Remainer. Now she's a Brexiteer. She didn't like the royal family. Now she does. And oh my God, yeah. It's. She needs to make her mind up. But don't forget, an awful lot of these politicians, they have speech writers, and she will have other people. Other puppeteers pulling the strings and all that. So she's not alone. David Mayer, will Boris make a comeback? I believe he's got another job. I believe Boris has got another job. There we go. Boris has got another job. There you go. But there you go. Boris has got another. There he is. Oh no! What is it? That's. It's not that one. It's not that one. It's this one. It's this one that he's got. He's got this job here. There you go. There's Boris's new job. He's in Billy Smart's circus. That's what he is anyway. That's Bojo's new job, and I think he'll probably be a bit better there at that one. To be honest with you. Okay. Who's this? Scaffolder John. Liblab Connor, all the same as Coastal Market or whatever. Dutch Farang, what's where stayed in EU or this? Well, I mean, we it's been a number of years now, hasn't it? That since Brexit, it's about 5 years, something like that. And then things have happened since then, which have made, thrown a spanner in the works, like, the pandemic and all kinds of stuff like that. So, I still haven't decided yet. But one thing I do bloody know, for the fact, and no one convince me otherwise, that since Brexit, our pound went downhill and it's never recovered since. And even now, it looks our pound is getting, weaker and weaker. Who's that? Arthur Lobon. The lefty idiots already name call, and they are pathetic. David Mayer, if you want to lose weight, you need to eat less. Well, that's got to be the revelation of the night. Yeah, you're quite right, mate. Absolutely. You can't lose weight simply by exercise. Seamus Doherty. Pretty Patel is a Roger. He obviously likes the fiery type. David Coleman, 1 stone is £14. Yeah, I need to lose several of those stones. Dickie B, nice to hear from you. Even that he's still in Greece. God, I love this, but I don't blame you. Absolutely beautiful country. Lovely islands. I've got to get on some kind of cup app when I get home. Booze and Gub, I mean. Liz Truss is a Tory. Enough said. Okay. Well, September is a wonderful month to be in Greece. Or Turkey as well, but Greece, I think is better. The Greek islands, they're lovely, and the climate. It's such a beautiful, beautiful environment. I was there last year. Okay, Jackie, good for you, mate. Anyway, good for you. Scaffolder John, you continue to save the country. Which one? Because it certainly isn't the UK. Well, we don't know. Paul Hoskin, used my exercise bike today. Took 4 hours to get to the shop. So good for you, mate. Good for you. Yours travels. Do you have a budget for gambling? So if I lose, I'm still smiling. Casino is fun if you know your limits. Okay. Popcorn, nice to hear. I think you were using a flattering photo of Liz Truss there. She reminds me of one of the Ken Dodd Diddy men to me. She probably privatised the Jam Butty mines. Well, that sounds. She's not a bad-looking woman. She's not a bad-looking woman anyway. But it's a nice body and all that kind of stuff. We don't want to talk about her looks or her personality. I mean, I think we want to see her policies. We want to see her policies. Okay, going to come up with a big question in a minute. Big question. Capo 17. Liz into interview on Sunday. She's been taught to thatch your hand to push her point and hold the interview when pressed for an answer. I mean, I noticed that when I've said this before, but she talks with her hands, like sort of like Magnus Pike, it's a big world out there. It's a big world, sort of bloody. I wish she'd stop talking. That's like a bit masculine. That's not very feminine. I put that on the screen. Cats and good coffee. I recently watched a video of that drunk American YouTuber that kissed a ladyboy, and he said that as he I'd already reached the top, he kissed the lady now because his objective is to reach the bottom. Okay. Each to their own, mate. Each to their own. No more comment on that. I am tilt. I managed to lose 20 stone. I divorced my fat wife. Good for you, mate. Good for you. David Coleman, I did the math. I'll be 65. Therefore, I should have one that is 38. I'm happy with that. Okay, fine. John Paul. All right, Eddie. After a long 3 years, I'm in Doha Airport now. 2-hour waiting and on my way to Bangkok. Can't bloody wait. Good for you, mate. Good for you. There just seems to be so many people, especially in the chat, who are heading out to Thailand. I mean, Brian Street has arrived in Thailand now. Good for him. Quite a few other people are heading out there. David R. I'm going to be going in November. John Paul's going to be there any hour now. Good for you, mate. Dickie B. Eddie, you'll be looking like Daniel Craig walking out of the sea in Bond. Can't wait. Got to wait on the bloody six-pack. I mean, I used to have a six-pack. Well, it's in there somewhere anyway. But that'll be a nice thought. Judy Doan. Hey Eddie, if you want to lose weight, get on more hormones and metabolic activators. You will feel better in your prime. Well, thanks for that. Thanks for that advice, Judy. I did once make a hormone. I told her I'd run out of money. Okay, whatever. Anyway, yours travels. Proper huge thunderstorms now in Liverpool. I think they've had worse bloody problems. I lived there at the time of the toxic riots, mate. Nick Ross, Eddie, would you consider playing the new James Bond? Yeah, I think I could do that. I think I could do that. I mean, I think they need someone who's a bit more down to it. Get with the times. A bit of a beer belly. I mean, I wonder what my drink would be if I was James Bond. It wouldn't be martini, would it? Vodka martini. What would it? I suppose it'd be speckled then, wouldn't it? Imagine me walking, in a suit, a suit and tie, walking into a bar and. Yeah, as James Bond and ordering a speckled then. That'd be something to see. Let's see. McLaren F1 race, dingy people, okay. Paul Hoskin, the bar girls are not bothered about your weight. Isn't this something that I've heard a couple of times recently? I've never ever heard it before. But I've actually heard a couple of these YouTubers saying in recent times that a lot of the new girls who are heading to Pattaya, they don't want the really old men anymore. They want younger guys and all that. Is that true? Is that true? I mean, because the ones that I remember in the past don't like younger guys. Because younger guys are too full of themselves, and the girls want guys with money, basically. But I've actually heard a few. I have heard at least a couple of YouTubers in recent times saying, the modern Thai girl, she doesn't want old men anymore. She wants younger guys. Seems to me that they want bloody everything, don't they, these days? Sean Griffiths, protesters do sit in to stop people buying milk. How stupid is it? This sit in to stop you from buying milk. Oh, my God almighty. Easter man. Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to repeat that comment. Ross, big up, Eddie. If I missed a big question, no, there hasn't been one yet. But there will be a big. All right, we'll do a big question any moment now. A little bit more of the chat, and we'll do a big question. It's a very, very relevant question. Yogi Bear, Liz Truss has been telling people that she's going to rob the NHS of 3.2 billion per year, and everyone seems to be happy about it. Jesus Christ. Bottom another 36 billion is not the way forward. We're all bloody doomed, mate. We're all doomed. David Brooks, nice to hear from you. Ben Dover, Rides for Kicks lost 37 kilo. That's about, what is that? That must be about 80 pounds. That's a lot. Walking on Beach Road every morning one day. That sounds fantastic. If you're going to lose weight, lose it gradually. So that's really, really good. Let's see. Okay, where are we now? Okay, so just going to skip through this. Eugene Vincent, I had sang a few singers at the Thai Festival in London yesterday. Nice event. Said hello to Peter. Yeah, Peter from Thailand Bound was there, and I think he might have made a video. He went to the Thai Festival, so good for him. Anyway, good for him. I think he's got a video out. I'll have to have a look at it. David Coleman, let's be honest, fat people should pay for 2 seats on a plane. Whatever. McLaren F1 race, I'd have seriously done Maggie in the 80s young about all the power that she was like bloody bold to say, wasn't she? She's like bold to say. And on a number of occasions, she actually sobbed, didn't she? She actually shed tears over a couple. I can't remember what they were, but she shed tears. Oh, she's all bloody false facade. But she was a damn good politician. What's this? David Coleman. I heard the girls charge you more than Pattaya if you were fat. Take care of yourself, guys. Jesus Christ. Gemini Star. Liz Truss was a Liberal before becoming a member of the Conservatives. Yeah, she was a Liberal. Now she's a Conservative. She was a Remainer. Now she's a Brexiteer. She didn't like the royal family. Now she likes the royal family. I wish she'd make a bloody mind up. Let me see. Let me see. Your travels, Eddie, is your first hotel in Bangkok open time. After you said, well, I'm actually booked for Bangkok this time. Can't wait. Can't wait. Yeah, let's see. Gemini Star, David, Boris Johnson was an excellent mayor of London. I don't live in London, so I can't comment, but he won 2 terms, didn't he? He won 2 terms. Griggles, Ed, I'm heading to Cambodia for 7 days in November. Do you suggest Siam Reap or Phnom Penh? It depends what you want. Siam Reap is a much nicer, more pleasant town, but Phnom Penh is better if you want to meet ladies, I suppose. Okay, there we go. Okay, so let me see. Your Savills, first thing she needs to do is cap energy companies and only allowing a 10% rise and no more rise for 3 years. Okay, she's got a lot on her tray, hasn't she? Let's see. Fred Mays, Siam Reap's nightclubs. Not many last time I went there. Whereas Phnom Penh is better. I don't recall many nightclubs in Siam Reap. Let me see. Shane Humphreys, Eddie, have you been to Vung Tau in Vietnam? If you have, is it any good there? I've been to Vung Tau in Vietnam, and I liked it better the first time than the second time I went there. It's very much an expat community place. It's actually very, very nice. You know, beautiful flowers and you know, nice. There's an awful lot of rats, a hell of a lot of rats there, rodents. You know, you go to bloody bars and there's all rats running around behind the bars and everything. It's got a terrible problem with that. And they've got some nice things about it. There's a beautiful big statue of Christ and whatever. They've got beautiful women in their Vung Tau, but they command a lot of money. But there's parts of that look a little bit seedy and shady, and I didn't really like it the second time I went there. I wouldn't go there again. But you can get a boat, a speedboat, catamaran sort of thing from Saigon to Vung Tau. It's worth a visit, but as a beach resort, it's not a beach. The beach is about the size of a postage stamp, so probably worth a look. But you'll see what you think. Let me see. Let's see. Stephen West. There is a global queue. They are coming for the food, the water, the energy supply, destroying the economy, destroying entities, all to make you vulnerable, dependent, and desperate. Oh, well, that's cheered me up. Let's see. David Coleman, a woman in town should be half your age plus 7 years. You know, 37. So that would make it 37 for me. It's not a bad age, I suppose, but couldn't you make it, 27? Let me see now. Let me see. David Coleman, have you ever taken the testosterone shot and won the foot? No, never. The least injections and tablets and all that, the better. Okay, I'm gonna ask a question. I'm gonna ask a question. Okay? I'm gonna ask a question, okay? Let me see. Okay, I'm gonna ask the big question, right? The big question, okay, the big question. It relates to lackluster Liz becoming prime minister today. She is our third female prime minister after Bodicea and Doolittle, Heart's not in it, Theresa. Lackluster Liz is our new prime minister. Okay. And the question is, and I suppose it relates to British people, but we'll do other questions which relate to a more international audience. Okay. Let me see. Let me. Oh, no, I'm going to rephrase this. I'm going to rephrase this. I'm going to rephrase it. I'm going to rephrase. Okay. Now, bear in mind that Liz Truss, our new Prime Minister, has not actually won a general election yet. She hasn't been voted by the British public yet. A general election could be a couple of years away. You know, we don't know this. Personally, I think that I'm fed up with so many general elections and change of leader in the last 12 years. We've started with the credit crunch, Brexit, the pandemic, the conflict in Eastern Europe. I mean, you know, we just need one strong leader to see us. I mean, I don't think it's healthy when you're swapping and changing your leader all the time, okay? But Liz Truss is our new Prime Minister. She may be around for a couple of years. She may win an election in a couple of years' time. She may be around for 10 years if she's any good. We do not know this because this is the birth of her prime ministership. Okay. Now, basically, she's got to win us over, hasn't she? She's got to win us over. So the question is, what is the one thing Liz could achieve which would make you vote for her? Bearing in mind, she hasn't been voted by the public yet, but in a couple of years, if there's an election, what is one thing more than anything that you would like to see her achieve that would make you vote for her? Okay, at a general election. Anyone? Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Good. Ed. Sorry. Okay, sure. In a country with a population of over 67 million, it's come to know that our next prime minister being selected by 141,000. Oh, give it time. Give it time. Give it time. Nick Ross, I would vote for her if she would resign. Okay. Easter man, young men, old men is irrelevant. The way the exchange rates are, the bar goes into if you've got an American accent. Yeah, absolutely. Well, the dollar's very strong. Okay, Sandra Taylor. Where are we now? Sandra Taylor. If she said she was going to leave, okay. Mike from Wales, irrelevant answer there. Cat and Good Coffee, Sandra. And what's your recent video about it? And it was bad. Yogi Bear, Ed, we've had 4 elections in 6 years, and the Queen, too many. Gary Hughes, that is a heavy one, Ed. There are so many problems. But there's got to be one thing, you know, for the Prime Minister. You may not like it, you may, not really think much of it. But if she could achieve one thing that would really win you over, and you think, right, she's achieved that, and I'm going to vote for it because no one else has achieved that. What is the one? I can think of it. I can think of a reason. Boo-hoo, don't kid yourself. Your vote is meaningless. Yours travels cap energy prices like France and Germany have. Okay. I mean, there's going to be a cost of living crisis. People are going to be struggling to eat and to heat their home and everything. If she could sort that out, but it's a big one, isn't it? Pinball, she's not Keir Starmer. Oh, he's bloody dull, him, isn't he? Okay. David Coleman, she must get the economy under control. She must stop the illegal immigration. Do you mean the illegal immigration? Okay, let me see. There you go, jet up it. A full stop to illegal immigration and get the ones deported that are already here. Okay, my sentiments exactly. I honestly, I have to say, if it's a general election in a couple of years, if Liz could have achieved one thing, I would like to have seen her do what all the others just talked about doing. I would like to see her put a stop to all these bloody thousands of people who are entering our country illegally, and we don't know who they are. And some of them are entering for all the wrong reasons. Many of them are entering because we're a soft touch, which we clearly are. Some of them are entering because they want to be part of gangs and all kinds of heinous behaviour. And some of them, there will even be a minority of those who are terrorists. You know, so if Liz can turn back the tide of all the illegal immigrants, if she can actually do something rather than just talk about it like all the others have, and, you know, the Rwandan farce and all this kind of bollocks, if Liz can actually do something, not just talk about doing something, then and achieve something in that regards, she'd get my vote. Okay, as I tell, the only thing she can achieve for me to vote is to allow Australians to vote in your elections. Okay, fair enough. Shook again. Nigel Farage only leads to bring back respect to that country. Manufacturing energy, bring it back. We're one of the. I'd vote for Nigel Farage, but I don't think he'll ever be. I don't think he'll ever be. You know, on the cards to be prime minister. I am still destroy the WF. However, she's one of them. Okay. Okay, Yogi Bear. Ed, we have had 40 elections in 6 years, and the Queen has seen 15 prime ministers in her reign. In her reign, Jesus Christ! I know they're changing the leaders so often. Shane Humphreys, if she was to look after the pensioners, maybe the pensioners are more likely. You know, the older ones are more likely to vote, so could be a good thing. Yeah. Oh, Jesus. Oh. Jesus, is that hay fever, is it? Is that hay fever? Oh, my God almighty. Okay, let me see. Yoz Travels, raise minimum wage to £13. Everything is going up, but wages are stagnant. Okay, that's a good start. That's a good start. But would that put a lot of people out of work? I mean, that could encourage certain employers to, you know, sneak the illegals in, couldn't it? GW, deport all the illegals. Good answer. Good answer. Gary Hughes, world peace. I think we've been trying that since the age of the dinosaurs, haven't we? Simon Depp. Leeds, I want her to help the poor pensioners out. Okay, that'll be a start. Sandra Taylor, if she got the boats, if she stopped the boats coming, yeah, that'll be a good start. Yeah, absolutely. Whatever. The thing is, poor pensioners. Okay, let's talk about that. I want her to help the poor pensioners out. Okay, I mean the pension. You know, a friend of mine, like, he's just turned 65 and he works, but he's got to work. He qualified for a state pension when he turned 65. A state pension is £180 a week. Okay. Now, whatever your housing circumstances and your food circumstances, you try bloody living on £180 a week in England. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. Who's that? Catching a coffee. Steady Love, you're going to comment on a recent Pattaya flooding. Well, I'm not actually in Pattaya yet, and there's nothing really unusual about that. I didn't know it was that bad, to be honest with you. So I can't really comment on that just yet. Alan H. Freeze energy prices. Okay. Wayne M. Reduce NHS waiting times. The NHS, what the hell is that? Have we still got one? Let's see. Yogi Bear, make a decision and not change your mind when it's the wrong one. Well, I suppose you'd have to change your mind if it's the wrong one. I mean, I think a better idea is to make the right decisions all the time. And I don't think she is. Michael Gineas, just be honest and sensible, unlike the other buffoon. Okay. McLaren F1 race. I can't put that on the screen. Okay. Okay. Okay, let's see. No name. I had lots of familiar names in the chat. Alan H, get immigration under control. Okay. Ricardo, if she put Britain first, if she stood up to France and eradicated the illegal immigrants, if you want to come here, apply. If you put Britain first, okay, yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, I don't think, I don't think it's the fault really. I know it's easy to blame the French, because these immigrants have the opportunity to stay in France and other European countries, but they don't want to do that. They want to risk their lives coming here. I don't really think it's the fault of the French. I think it's our fault. It's the fault of Britain and our soft-touch nature. We're giving them generous benefits. We're giving them hotels. We're giving them meals. We're welcoming them in. We're looking after them. And it's just a load of rubbish. I mean, what are the countries going to do that? We need to stop being a soft-touch. The problem is with us. We're the problem, Britain. We need to stop being a soft touch country. And in all these other countries, whether it's Albania, whether it's India or Turkey or any of these countries, right? I mean, this is the age of social media, of globalization. This is the age when they know, people in Turkey and India know all about our generous benefit system. They know all about it before they come here, and that's why they want to come here. That's why all these illegals want to come here, because we're a soft touch. We need to stop being a soft touch. We need to put a bloody big sign on the White Cliffs of Dover saying, if you're coming here illegally, you are getting F all, okay? Now, F off. Okay, that's what we need to do. Okay. Lewis C. Overpopulation is the main problem. If you cut the UK population, you would get my vote. But which part of the population are you talking about? Illegal immigrants, or just kill after people, like I mean, not quite sure what you mean there, mate. Arthur Lobon, the lefties love the illegals, or the lefties bloody love anything that isn't right wing. Okay. Okay, let's see. Matthew Carey, real answer, ends mass immigration and I go on those big milkers, okay? Let me see. Let's see. Alan H, pension rise for all the pensioners. Yeah, I agree. Pension rise for all the pensioners. Because like I said before, I mean, if all you've got is a bloody state pension, 180 quid a week, that's sod all. You can't live on that in England. You really, really can't. But make sure it's for the pensioners who paid into the, paid the national insurance over the years. Make sure it's for the British ones. Okay, Michael Janaeus, illegal immigration is not our problem. It's not our problem. Our problem is a stable, honest government. Okay, nicely said. David Coleman, it's the Battle of Britain all over. Protect the country. Fair enough. Sandra Taylor, Priti Patel is handing in her notice tomorrow before she is pushed. That's a good thing to start with, okay? What did she achieve exactly, Priti Patel? Not quite sure. What did she achieve? She said she was going to do a lot of things about immigration. She was going to get tough and all that. But did she actually achieve anything? Arthur Lobon, Liz needs to stop foreign aid to countries richer than us. That's been going on for far, far too long. There you go. Gary Hughes, obviously stop the illegals, number one priority. Okay. Totally. I mean, it's a horrible thing to say, but we haven't, mainly because of the pandemic, we haven't had a big terrorist attack in recent times, which has really shook us all up. Mainly because of the pandemic, because everywhere was closed and, for a while. But it's only a matter of time, isn't it? It's horrible to think, but it's only a matter of time, one of these days it's going to happen. It'll probably be caused by one of those bastards who come over on a dinghy. Let's see, Ed Sweeney's 20 stone white back in England. Well done, Ed. Clear those nostrils. Okay, thank you, my darling. There you go. If you raise minimum wage and everything else will go up in price and many will lose their jobs. That's a good point. That's a good point. See, my 20 stone wife can talk a little bit of sense, when she's not being vulgar. Okay. There you go. Nick Ross, it's time to shut down for good and have a dictator. You in politics, Nick, by any chance? Gary Hughes, the reason I didn't want Rishi was he screwed the pensioners last year. Okay. It seems he's over the bloody Ritz, isn't he? Isn't he? I am tilt. It has been mentioned that some of the illegals are actually UN soldiers staying in a hotel just waiting to put down public protests. Okay. Clive says, do you want a sensible answer, Ed? Maybe Liz Truss could make this country fair play for people that work and pay tax and penalise people that sponge off the taxpayer. I'm all for that. That sounds a bit more Thatcherite, that, and I'm all for that. Yeah, I mean, support the hard-working people who pay tax, and bugger those who just want to sponge and live in bloody council estates and sit around all day having loads of kids and watching Jeremy Kyle or any of that other rubbish and expecting us taxpayers to pay for it all. Yeah, know exactly what you mean, mate. She should get tough at all of them. No name. If raised minimum wage, then that'll destroy smaller to medium-sized shops. Yeah, whatever. John Mitch, state pension age is 66 years old now. Not for me, it's 67 now. They put it back further. I mean, well, I don't know whether I'm going to ever see a bloody state pension, but they put it back to, for my age group, they put it back to 67 now. And by the time I get to 67, it'll probably be 77. I think about, I'm not holding my breath for it. Nice to hear from you anyway, John. Okay, let's see. Mike from Wales, ban rubber dinghies in the English Journal. I think we all want that, mate. It's easily said and done. Yeah, yours travels. Rishi was great for me in COVID. I'm self-employed, and for 18 months, I got 80% of my average earnings. I got in 5 payments. It was great for self-employed with a few years tax returns. Oh, that's good. That sounds nice and positive. Judy Doan. The English Parliament is a joke. PM looks like a wannabe Margot. I think you mean Thatcher, do you? Let's see. Boohoo. Give citizens incentives to have children and immigrants disincentives. Okay. What are they having so many children for? Why do people do that? When people are on benefits, I mean, Christ Almighty, they're having 5 kids, half a dozen kids. Well, what the hell are they doing that? Yeah, there's not bloody work around. Yogi Bear, Ed, anyone on here that's 60 thereabouts have to work till 67 now before we get the state pension. Okay, yeah, exactly. David Coleman, my pension will be $3,000 a month. I'm okay. I said, oh, well, good, nice for you, mate. Anyway, good for you. Good for you. Let's see. No name. Too many benefits. Underachieving public. Okay. Nick Ross told about. Oh, I'm not going to repeat that one. Gary Hughes only paid benefits after 5 years tax and national insurance paid in. I mean, people who come here illegally, Yeah, you know, haven't paid into the system, have they? I mean, it's bloody scandalous that we should give them anything. They, you know, just turn them back. They don't belong here. Eastern man, population of the UK has increased by 8 million in the last 20 years. Yeah, yes, wouldn't surprise me. And of those 8 million, we probably only know about half of that. Let me see. Who's this? Ben K. Britain is like the USA, giving all to the immigrants more benefits than their own people. I can't comment on that because I don't live in the USA. Judy Doan, Eddie, wake up. The immigration flow is part of a world plan. Enjoy paying for the immigrants' lifestyle. Surprised you never popped one out with En Vogue influence. Does it still function? Surprised you never popped. Does it still function? I was doing all right, Judy. Doing all right. Nice of you to ask. Alistair Taylor, I agree with you. I agree with your legal immigration views, Ed. We have had tough laws here, and they have worked up to now. Unfortunately, I think, are you in Australia or somewhere? Unfortunately, we had a change of government, and the new party are softies. We don't want any softies. We want a tough one. We want a tough one. Margaret Thatcher had bigger bollocks than any of the fellas. Well, you know, Liz Truss, she's made it clear. Lackluster Liz has made it clear she wants to follow in the footsteps of Maggie, doesn't she? So, okay, that's what we need right now. We don't need any more softies or anyone doing any UEs. We want clear thinking. We want it to be tough. Come on, Liz, get tough. Show that you're the Iron Lady too, okay? Let me see. GW, the left politicians want the illegals votes. They know they can't keep fooling the national British politics. That's a good point, that, mate, isn't it? Good point. David Coleman, I've worked out the paperwork in my pension cards. It's going to be fun. 2 girls at the same time in Cuba. Okay. So your pension's going to go on. Good. It's up to you what you spend it on, mate. I can think of a lot worse. You know, better than going down to bloody Weatherspoons every afternoon for a couple of cheap bayers. You know, good for you, mate. Good for you. Cattle coffee. It's all useless. There's a global agenda called Agenda 2030. We're all going to eat worms and live like the movie Elysium on dirty, dusty earth. Can't wait for that. Michael Gianneas, Pretty Vittel did not a great deal. Okay, thank you. Matthew Cartwright, illegal immigration is a drop in the ocean. Over 1 million people came to the UK over the past year, apparently legally. Okay. Cy London, I don't think Truss will get a grip on the illegal immigration. Well, if she got tough, if she really got tough, and she did get a grip on it, then she'd be doing something that her predecessors didn't matter because they were all talk, even at the risk of making herself unpopular with some people. If she got really tough, as in, like, you know, she turned all the bloody boats back, then you know that would win a lot of people over. I'd vote for her. Honestly, I would. Let's see, Paul Scott. Anybody else got visions about you leaning over the side of the border force boat with a loud hailer shouting, "Oh, you, F off back to where you came from"? I could do that. Gives a job. I could do that. My God, I could do that. No problem, mate. And I'd also be shouting, "And don't come back." Okay. Sandra Taylor. Pretty Vittel achieved nothing. Couldn't even keep a posh accent though. She always slipped odd words to who she really is. Okay. Yours travels pretty. She didn't achieve anything as the rest of the government didn't vote or back it up in Parliament. Right, fair enough. Ben Fair and Kay, it's not a horrible thing to say. It's reality. Immigration has to stop, maybe for some time at first. Okay. Cats and Good Coffee. Lisa is very happy to have all the Africans moving to the UK. Yeah, absolutely. Pele, anarchy in the UK. No, we don't want any of that. We don't want any of that. He said, man, one thing is for sure, she ain't going to unfreeze the frozen state pensions. Isan man lives in Thailand, by the way, as well. So, yeah, okay. They're not getting any better, the pensions. Things. Make all the pensioners lucky. Oh, well. Sandra Taylor, Diane Abbott achieved more than Priti Patel by wearing not choosing in Parliament. Okay. Gemini Star, don't pay for the TV license. BBC's a lot of crap anyway these days. Let's see, yourselves. My wages the past 5 years has crept up from £18 an hour to £24 an hour. That's how you can afford all these luxury cruises, isn't it? Bernfern K. In California, they are raising the minimum wage super high, and fast food places are bitchy. A Big Mac will cost you $20 now. $20 for a Big Mac. And does that come with fries? And what am I $20? Well, if you look at the way the pound is now, there's not as much difference as what you might think. That's probably about 16 quid. No, it's probably more, probably about 17 quid in English money. I wouldn't bother with it. No thanks. I'd rather get a frozen lasagna from Asda or Co-op. Jetober, scrap the driver CPC for truck drivers. It's a nuisance. I'd vote for that. Definitely. Okay, fine. Absolutely. Who's that? Cy London. I really hate living in this country now. Just would love to take my chances living somewhere else. Good for you. I think a lot of us are thinking that, to be honest with you. Okay, Martin Bertil. EDF is a French power company, and its national security risk are gas and electric power, and it's holding the general public and business to ransom. It's a joke. Let's see, yours travels. I'm 42 and think the pension will probably be age 70 for me. I'm not working past 55. A lot of people say things like that. I remember the time years ago when I said I'm not working past 50. And didn't quite work out that way. Charlie Stewart Wright, born after 1982, it's now 68. Jesus Christ. Cats and good coffee. Do not worry about UK politics, guys. We're all moving to Southeast Asia anyway. No politician can change Western women. Disgusting attitudes, so we have no choice other than moving to Southeast Asia. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Sean the Prawn. Eddie, I don't care what anybody says. First past the post is the most fair democratic form of democracy. It's a bit like the voting on Big Brother, but instead of getting voted out, you get voted in. Okay, fine, thank you. Stephen West, why are all the staff at the housing office all foreigners and lefties? So let me see now. Let me see. David Coleman, I get my full pension in 4 months at 65. Canada is okay. Well, that's good. That's good. That's good. Good for you, mate. Anyway. So let's see. Okay, got to skip through the chat because I've got miles and miles and miles behind in the chat. Okay. Let's see. Yogi Bear. Rishi didn't become a billionaire by wasting money and making bad calls. I don't like the guy, but the guy talks common sense. You keep borrowing money when the interests are going up. Okay. Okay. Who's this? Jay Free. It's just the old white guy bitching out. What a bunch of little chickens. Cluck, cluck, cluck. Okay, fine and dandy. Okay, fine and dandy, matey. Okay. So I'll tell you what. So the thing is, what is the one thing Liz could achieve which would make you vote for her? Well, the one thing I would vote for Liz, if it's during the course of her term, whether it's the next couple of years or whatever, I would vote for her if she could stop this ridiculous situation of us giving benefits willy-nilly to all these bloody illegals and giving them hotels and all of this and stop them from coming. If she could do that, she'd get my vote because no one else is man. Everyone else has just talked about it up to now. That's all they do, just bloody talk about it. Okay, so anyway, where are we now? Okay. It's time, back in a moment, squeaky door time. Okay. I'm back. Now I've been really good because kind of get used to this Coors Light and the lower calories does make a difference. I still haven't opened my cases of Kronenberg and Real Ales that I purchased from Asda the other week. So it's kind of confidence. That's my aim, my target. Next couple of months, I want to be significantly lighter in a couple of months' time. Really, really do. Okay, so let me see now. Michael Janaeus, really interesting that the UK pound usually goes stronger after the new PM announced. Not today, it hasn't budged. We've got to talk about that later in the week because that's a travel issue, that is. But I must admit, when I looked at the exchange rates yesterday, funnily enough, the exchange rate, the pound towards the Thai baht and the euro isn't really that bad. It's against the dollar. It's the dollar that's gone really, really strong. And the fact is that if you want to go to a country like Cambodia, they use US dollars there. And our pound is weak. It's weak. We need to talk about that later on in the week. Let me see. Where are we? Let me see. Okay, let's see. Okay, here we go. Okay, so let me see now. Okay. Yogi Bear, the pound is weak because we rely on oil and gas imports. The dollar is strong because they are self-sufficient in energy and have up production to help Europe. Yeah, that's more or less what I thought. You know. Okay. Yeah, Matthew Cartwright. Yeah, working class blokes have an opinion over the future of their country. Makes us the same people our grandparents died to protect us from. Grow up. Yeah, he's on to somebody called Bangkok 112 there. Yeah, I agree. He should bloody grow up and just get a life, whoever he is. Okay. So we're going to play out with this one now. Another big question. Seeing it's political day, we've got a new leader, something that relates to it. Okay. Now I'm 60 years old. I know I don't look it, but come across many prime ministers in my time. So let me see now. So come across many prime ministers and in my time, and I'm sure Americans and Canadians watching and Australians will have come across many presidents or prime ministers as well. So the question is, who was the best prime minister, president in your lifetime? It was the one that you really think, I wish that guy or that woman would return. It was the best one. Anyone? Let me see now. The euro, Cats and Good Coffee, the euro was going down the drain too. It's similar to the euro. There's not. It was 1.17, something like that. Not that much different, but it's just the dollar just becoming really strong against other currencies. Okay, so the first prime minister I ever seen was Harold Wilson. Now, too young to remember whether he was really good, but then we had Teddy. Oh, a life on the ocean wave. Teddy, and then we have Wilson again, and then that bloody awful Callahan disaster. Okay, so let's see. Matthew Cartwright says Trump was the best. Oh, really? Okay. Ion Tilt says Thatcher. Okay. I wonder whether Thatcher and Trump would have got on. I mean, she got on with Reagan, didn't she? Whether she would have got on with Trump. I would imagine she probably would, because he was all for the rich, and he's certainly the rich, isn't he? Let's see. Sean Griffiths, Joseph Darrett, Trump, Benny Fernandez, Reagan for me. Benny Fernandez. He sounds like what a good name. He sounds like a character out of Scarface or Carlito's Way, doesn't he? Benny Fernandez. Good name. Jet Hopper. David Cameron was all right. Do you know something? It's my own opinion. I actually thought, and I may be a lone voice, but you like David Cameron. I actually thought that David Cameron was probably the most underrated prime minister of my lifetime. I actually, very, not necessarily the most likable person, a bit smarmy, like a double glazing salesman. Absolutely. Not necessarily sincere, but I think he was an intelligent fella. And him and Osborne made a good partnership. Osborne was the Chancellor because when the Conservatives got back into power, they I know they brought Nick, what's his name, Clegg along for the bloody ride. I don't know what that was all about. But when they got into power, I thought that Cameron and Osborne, they had to deal with the massive debt that this country was in. Gordon Brown had plunged this country into terrible debt. And I think Cameron and Osborne handled that quite well. That's the way it seemed to me anyway. Let me see now. Let me see. Okay, boo-hoo, Trump. Let's go, Brandon, okay? Let's see, Arthur Lobon, the pound is stronger against the euro than this time last year. Is it really? Okay, Gemini Star. President Saddam Hussein. Oh, you like Saddam Hussein? Okay, fine, thank you. Simon Dipp, Tony Blair. You don't hear many people saying Tony Blair was the greatest ever. But the fact is, I mean, we went many, many years believing that Labour will never, ever get back into government. You know, the wilderness years. Labour, we will never, ever see a Labour government ever again. But Blair, for all people say about him now, he got Labour back into power and he won 3 terms, didn't he? He was Prime Minister for 10 years. David Coleman, the first Prime Minister, Trudeau was a really great leader. I was a kid back then. Okay, fine. Let me see. Catching up Coffee, Ron DeSantis is pretty good. Okay. Alan H says Trump. Wayne M. Michael Foot. You can always trust a man who wears a donkey jacket. Michael Foot was never ever Prime Minister. He was the leader of the Labour Party. And to be honest with you, he was a bit of a bloody joke, wasn't he? I mean, you know, against Thatcher, he didn't stand a chance, did he? Michael Foot was Labour, and he was the Labour leader for the brief while. Thatcher won a landslide election against it. I mean, it was a bit of a bumble and buffoon. I mean, when years later, when Saddam Hussein, his name was all over the newspapers. He'd invaded Kuwait and everything. And it come up to Michael Foot to say his part about whether, you know, Britain should assist America in invading, you know, going into Kuwait to chase out Saddam Hussein. And the name of Saddam Hussein was all over the place on every news story and every newspaper. Saddam Hussein. Michael Foot couldn't even remember the man's full name. I remember he got up in Parliament once and to say his piece. And I remember he said, this Saddam, whatever his name is, yeah, that's Michael Foot. How the hell could you possibly have trusted a man like that? McLaren F1 race, Tony Blair. I think that seems like tongue-in-cheek there. Let's see. Capo 17, Clinton, is the economy stupid? It just seemed to me as an outsider that Clinton was pretty good, wasn't he? He was pretty good. I mean, us snobbish British people, we said he should be out of office because, like, you know, he's been having rumpy-pumpy with Monica Lewinsky, and he's been smoking cigars in a place where the sun doesn't shine. But it just seemed to me that the Americans were a bit more grown up than us. It's the economy stupid. Yeah, it looked to me like America was doing okay under Clinton. Okay, yours travels. Blair was the best in the UK. Boris would have actually been good in the right times. Trump by a mile as America was doing well, but had too many haters. Oh, I don't know. I can't really comment on American presidents. I know I just commented a little bit on Clinton there, but I mean, you know, Trump, you know, certainly divided people, but I don't know. That fiasco, you know, when he refused to accept defeat and they invaded the Capitol building and all this, and well, oh my God, you know, go gracefully, man, go gracefully. Never known the bloody likes of it. And a few people have mentioned in the newspapers, the press, that the campaign between Rishi Wishy-Washy Sunak and Liz Truss was very, very hot-headed and very, very bitchy and bad-tempered. It was nothing, absolutely nothing compared to, you know, Trump and Hillary Clinton. I mean, they were at each other's throat. Oh, my God. That was terrible. That was the worst, most bitchy campaign ever. Let's see. Okay, Pele. Okay. Gemini Star. At least Saddam kept the piece of what? Sandra Taylor. David Cameron was a bit shocked when he abandoned the ship. I mean, the thing is, I think you know, some people were unfair to Cameron simply because they said that he will always be judged by the word Brexit. I mean, the fact is, it's Cameron's fault for, you know, promising people the referendum and then giving the referendum, and then we voted out of Europe. And Cameron was clearly a Remainer, and it was said that if we vote out of Europe, and it didn't seem like it was going to happen. But if we vote out of Europe for Brexit, then Cameron's position as Prime Minister would be untenable, yes? And the day that we voted Brexit, Cameron, abandoned us. He realised he was a Remainer and he couldn't be Prime Minister anymore. So he announced his resignation. But I don't blame Cameron for Brexit, simply because somebody had to call that referendum sooner or later. That argument was raging on for donkey's years. It was raging on through Thatcher and John Major and other people. Sooner or later, somebody had to call that referendum. Cameron was the one who called it. It sort of backfired for the Remainers. It is what it is. But I think Cameron was, I think he was very, very underrated personally. He spoke his mind in a lot of ways as well, and a very, very intelligent person. Sean Griffiths, Abraham Lincoln was best. Okay, so you actually alive. I think we were talking about our lifetime. Okay, McLaren F1. Cameron gave us the Brexit vote. The laugh was on him. Okay, I don't think he really cared because he was, he's probably set for life anyway. He comes from a very, very rich background. But I do not blame Cameron for us leaving Europe. I really don't. Sugarcan, Putin, how he built his country and gained respect for his people. Concerning the UK, gone from bad to worse, manufacturing, gone companies left, we sold ourselves out again to everyone. Putin, Sugarcan, you like Putin? Oh, okay, well I'll put in a good word for him then. Couldn't resist that. I am tilt. Nigel Farage should be PM. Well, Nigel Farage has never ever been an MP, never been a member of Parliament. And unless he joins the Conservative Party, the way that it works, he probably never ever will be, PM. But I'd vote for Nigel Farage because I think I didn't used to like him. But come on, let's be realistic. At a time of mediocrity, we've got amongst Coco the Clown and Liz and Rishi, Nigel Farage has got more charisma than all of those put together. The man runs rings about all of these mediocre Conservative politicians, and he runs rings about the mediocre Labour politicians as well. Singapore Dan, Reagan, okay. Yeah, but Reagan, we perceived in the 1980s Reagan as a bit of a bumbling clown and a buffoon, but he seems to be held with affection in this day and age. I think a lot of people in this country felt that he was a warmonger. He was a warmonger. He was kind of obsessed with his Star Wars technology and all this kind of stuff. Carl Travel Dude was Obama for the poor. He's never had a real job and now lives in a 9-bedroom home in the Hamiltons. Okay, fair enough. Fair comment. Singapore Dan says Trump. McLaren, yeah, but Ed, we have more debt than ever now. It's I don't. Well, who's to blame for that? I mean, I think Gordon Brown, massive borrowing. I think the massive borrowing. It seems like Gordon Brown. Some people say that he handled the credit crunch really well. I don't know, but he borrowed colossal amounts of money and was still paying the price for it. Lewis C. Harold Wilson was good. Cameron said you would cut immigration down to the tens of thousands. They all say that, mate. They all say that. Who's this? Who's this? Very strange how you're suddenly all over Thatcher like a herpes rash. She tried to destroy Liverpool. Man has declined. Yeah. I'll say you don't like it then. Let's see. What is it? Ian Smith did a great job in in Rhodesia. He said, man, Idi Amin was a great leader, unless, of course, you happen to be a Ugandan citizen. Oh, my, he was a vicious bastard, wasn't he? Wow, what an absolute savage, that man. Absolute savage. But an absolute savage of his time. But he was a comical character. He was funny, but in a sort of black comedy, savage sort of way. I remember a Benny Hill sketch where Benny Hill's sort of blacked up and he's wearing a military uniform like Idi Amin, and he's sitting at a desk and on his desk it's it's a little card that says Amin, and then Benny Hill turned the cards around and it said I'm out. That's Benny Hill for you. Oh my God Almighty! What a nasty, nasty man. Idi Amin, I mean, not Benny Hill. Let's see. Sean Griffith's biggest ass prime minister is Gordon Brown. Okay. Let's see. David Coleman. So, Eddie, you're leaving out Winston Churchill. The reason I'm leaving out Winston Churchill because in the question, it does say who was the best PM president in your lifetime. I'm not old enough to remember Winston Churchill. Let me see. Who's this? Category Coffee. If you're not a liberal, when you were 20, you have no heart. And if you're not a conservative, when you were 40, you have no brain. Winston Churchill. Okay, nice words. Sean the Prawn. Who's a politician you would have pints with, Eddie? Well, I'd like to have pints with Nigel Farage, but he's not an MP. I don't even think you class him as a politician right now. He's a presenter. Absolutely, he just runs rings. He's like a heavyweight champion amongst a load of bloody lightweights. I think, I would like to see Prime. I'd vote for Nigel Farage. Really, really would. I wouldn't mind having a pint with him as well. Sean Griffiths, Winston Churchill won us the war. He should get a whisper. He wasn't from my generation. He probably was wonderful, but he wasn't from my generation. And neither was Alec Douglas, Hume, Home, whatever. Yogi Bear, as everyone knock Maggie's, you take over the country with 25% inflation and interest rates at 17.5%. But when she left office, the country was in a much better state. But people forget. Yeah, she did. I mean, she inherited a terrible country. She inherited she became prime minister by ousting probably the worst prime minister of my lifetime, and that was Jim Callaghan. Jim Callaghan never won an election. He inherited it when Harold Wilson resigned. Jim Callaghan was prime minister for about 4 years. And they were, in the late 1970s, the country became a disaster. Strikes, the winter of discontent, massive inflation and interest rates. Jim Callaghan was undoubtedly the worst prime minister of my lifetime. Let's see, Leeds. Cameron was good. Blair was a total clown. I don't know. I mean, Blair, don't forget, Labour were in the wilderness years for 18 years, and many believed that Labour could never get into power again. Blair brought Labour back into power, and he won 3 elections. So I wouldn't say he was a total clown. Sandra Taylor, I think Andy Burnham would make a good PM. To be honest with you, I think Andy Burnham, I think he stood up for Manchester at a time, he's the mayor of Manchester. He stood up for Manchester at a time when, this pandemic rubbish was going on and the government wanted to lock everyone down and force people out of business. I think Andy Burnham, the best thing Labour could do is elect Andy Burnham. I think Andy Burnham would make a good leader of the Labour Party, at least. Let's see, Mike from Wales. Well, yeah, they're all posh boys from Harrow, 45 grand per year. They'll teach you to talk properly. Well, they're all like that, aren't they? I mean, you know, people held it against Rishi Sunak because, you know, because he's super rich, but they all come from rich backgrounds. They all did. Let me say, boo-hoo. Gaddafi was a great leader. Say I took him out because he wouldn't go, okay, whatever. McLaren F1 race says Blair, okay. Gemini Star says Blair has too much blood on his hands. Issa Man said Tony Blair, the turd that won't flush, okay. Got a lot of hostility towards Tony Blair here. Let's see. David Coleman, the October crisis in 1970 in Canada. Trudeau used the army. Okay. Okay. Before my time. Let me see. Okay. So let's just skip through this now. So we've done this question anyway. Like I say, it was the best PM president in your lifetime. I think the best one in my lifetime would have been Thatcher. You know, even though she was an absolute cow, she was heartless. She was all for the rich. She didn't give a damn about the poor. But she inherited a country that was on its knees, and with her powerhouse personality, like Baudelaire, her ruthless personality, she brought us into a good stable economy. In the 1980s. Unless of course you were in Liverpool, where we had not but bloody unemployment and riots. Okay, but Thatcher was probably the best one, depending on what your status was. But I certainly think that Cameron was the most underrated one, and I think it would have been an idea for them to hang around a bit. Okay, yours travels. I'm gonna skip through that one there. Okay, yours travels. Get 4 beers on me, buddy. Okay, thank you for that super chat. Thank you for that super chat, yours. Okay, I'd love to hear more about your your cruises. It fascinates me. I've never been on a cruise ship, and I'd love to see them. So thank you for that super chat. Anyway. Cheers for that anyway. So what I'm going to do now is just have a little look. Let me see. Okay, let me see. I'm just going to nip through this. David Marchant, Mugabe knew how to win an election. He was a nice man. How was it all the bloody bastards of this world since I lived until 97? Mugabe lived till 97 for Christ. It's not fair, is it? It's not fair. Let me see. Boohoo, in 2016, polls showed Americans never felt more divided pre-Trump. Obama was the most decisive president in history. Really? Gemini Star, Nigel Farage is too honest to be a politician. I wouldn't exactly phrase it like that. Yours travels. I like Nigel, but the lies he told to win Brexit, yeah, on the side of a bus, 350 million going to the NHS and all that. He said there was 12 million immigrants from Turkey coming. I actually heard Farage on Question Time saying, if we don't get out of the EU, when Turkey join the EU, we're going to have 70 million Turks. I actually heard him saying 70 million. That's the entire population of Turkey, So, yeah, he was he was guilty of being a bit bombastic, absolutely. Issa, man, Andy Burnham covered up the grooming. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Gemini Star, tell Summers to close up on that. I think he's out in the open, really. David Coleman, say what you want. Fidel Castro outlived 5 US presidents that all tried to kill him. Yeah, he done well, didn't he? Let me see. Okay, I'm gonna finish this soon because we've done a couple of big questions today in September the 5th. But what it's worth, we have a new prime minister, Britain's third ever, third female prime minister. The first one the first one was sensational. A powerhouse, the Iron Lady. Even though isn't it funny about Thatcher? Isn't it funny about Thatcher that she won 3 landslide elections. Thatcher. She was a rip-roaring success as a prime minister. And you never met anyone who admits to voting for her, even down south. Conservative heartland. Nobody ever admits to voting for Thatcher. They did vote for her. They just don't want to admit it. Let me see. Okay. Yours travels, cruising is great, but more excited for Thailand and Singapore in November and December. Well, I'm heading out to Thailand in a couple of months' time, and like I say, today I've done more exercise than I have done on any other day, and I'm starting to firm up. It's a long way to go, but can't wait anyway. Can't wait. Okay, David Coleman, that Italian pair was a great one. I liked him. That's Silvio Berlusconi. He was a character, wasn't he? He was a bloody character. He wore those flashy suits in his suntan. Didn't he look a bit like Julio Iglesias? Big hit with he was cool. He was good fun, he was. Stuart Lennox, Berlusconi, yeah, absolutely. Cat and Good Coffee, Cicciolina, she added extra value by showing her teddies, okay? Now, are you suggesting that Liz Truss should do that? Ross, same as the Donald in US. Most wouldn't admit to voting for him in the first time, okay? Gemini Star, I'm of Italian descent, hot-blooded, and love a good old hump. Well, good for you, mate. You're not going to get one here. Okay, so listen, thank you for your input, guys. I really, really appreciate you coming along on Monday. Tomorrow, I'm going to be on this channel at 10 o'clock tomorrow night for more big questions, more debate, probably more bloody itchy nose anyway, and more cause light anyway. So thanks for coming along, guys. Anyway, I'll see you all tomorrow at 10 o'clock. It's been lovely to have you here. You've been a lovely group of guys. Ross says, cheers, Eddie. Loving the new format. Okay, thank you. Cat and Good Coffee. Good night, gentlemen. Bottle Baby, thanks. Okay, there we go. I am Tilt. Good night, everybody. Everyone, good night. See you tomorrow at 10 o'clock, guys. Cheers.